All right, today we're going to unpack something really powerful, a methodology that's completely changed how industries work and saved companies literally billions of dollars. We're talking about Six Sigma. So let's just dive right in.
You buy a product or use a service, and it's just perfect every single time. It's so consistent, it almost feels like magic, right? How on earth do they pull that off?
But then, of course, there's the flip side, and we've all been there: the late package, the weird charge on your bill, that gadget that just doesn't work right. The gap between those two experiences? Well, it usually boils down to having a really systematic way of thinking about quality. And that, right there, is where Six Sigma enters the picture. See, it's not magic at all. It's actually a super disciplined, data-driven way of doing things. The core idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly profound. You find what's causing mistakes and inconsistencies, and you get rid of them, systematically. I love this analogy because it just makes it click. Picture it like this. A 3 Sigma player is good. They're a pro. They make most of their shots. But a 6 Sigma player? Oh, that's a whole other level. That's the legend who almost never misses. That's the kind of insane reliability we're aiming for here.
All right, so near perfection. What does that actually mean? I mean, in the real world of business? Well, Six Sigma isn't vague about it. It gives us a very specific and, honestly, a crazy ambitious number to shoot for.
And here it is. This is the magic number, the very heart of Six Sigma, 3.4. But 3.4 what? 3.4 defects for every million chances to have one. A million! That means you're operating at 99.99966% perfect. It's just an incredibly high bar.
Okay, to really get what that means, look at this example. This is perfect. Think about airline baggage. At a 3 Sigma level, which is, pretty average for a lot of companies, they'd lose almost 67,000 bags for every million they handle. Yikes. But at 6 Sigma, they'd lose about 3. Just 3. That's not just a little better. That's a completely different reality.
So where did an idea this powerful even come from? It didn't just pop out of thin air. The story behind Six Sigma actually starts with a huge, real-world crisis, and its success is backed up by some absolutely mind-blowing numbers.
Okay, so let's rewind to the 80s. It all starts at Motorola. An engineer there, Bill Smith, he comes up with this methodology because they were getting killed by costly defects. And guess what? It worked. It worked so well that by 1995, the legendary CEO of GE, Jack Welch, basically grabs it and makes it the core of their entire global strategy. And from there, it just exploded. Now you see it everywhere: manufacturing, healthcare, finance, you name it.
And when we talk about success, the proof is right here in the numbers. In just the first 10 years, Motorola said they saved over $16 billion because of Six Sigma. That's not just a quality initiative, that's a straight-up financial game changer.
And then GE just cemented the whole thing. In only 5 years, they saved $12 billion. When you see numbers like that, that's why this thing blew up. That's why it went way beyond the factory floor and into pretty much every industry you can think of.
Okay, so that's the why. But how does it actually work? Let's peel back the layers and look at the core mechanics, starting with the one thing it's designed to fight and how it organizes people to do it.
In the world of Six Sigma, there's basically one main villain: variation. Any little difference, any inconsistency in a process, that's the enemy. In fact, that's what the Sigma part of the name means. It's a statistical term for variation. The whole goal is to squeeze that variation down so tight until you hit that Six Sigma level where mistakes are almost statistically impossible. And how do they do that? Well, they use this really cool structure that's actually borrowed from martial arts. You have different belt levels. So you start as a white belt, just getting the basics. Then you move up to yellow, green, all the way to black belts, who are the full-time project leaders, and even master black belts. These are the gurus, the mentors, guiding the whole strategy. It's a really smart way to build expertise from the ground up.
So you've got your experts, your green belts and black belts, but what do they actually do? Well, they don't just wing it. They follow a very specific 5-step roadmap for every project they tackle. It's called DMAIC.
DMAIC, it stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control, and it's just pure, simple logic. First, you define exactly what the problem is, no guessing. Then you measure it. How bad is it really? Get the data. Next, you analyze that data to figure out why it's happening, the root cause. Then you improve it. You implement the fix. And finally, and this is crucial, you control it. You put systems in place so the problem doesn't creep back in.
Here's a great way to think about it. It's like a visit to the doctor. The doctor defines your symptoms, measures your vitals, analyzes the test results to find the cause, suggests an improvement with a treatment plan, and then uses controls like follow-up appointments to make sure you stay healthy. I mean, you wouldn't want your doctor just guessing, right? DMAIC brings that same level of rigor to business problems. It's all about data, not guesswork.
So after all this talk about stats and belts and DMAIC, you might be thinking, okay, so Six Sigma is just a fancy toolbox full of complicated math, right? It's an easy trap to fall into, but that's really missing the big picture. Because at the end of the day, Six Sigma isn't really about the tools. It's a mindset. It's a cultural shift. It's about committing, as a team, to this relentless pursuit of perfection and using data to light the way. It's a whole new way of thinking. And that's an idea that can change absolutely everything.